Mute. Mic check. Excellent. Cool. Let's get this show on the road. Do. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Bear Broadcast. I am your host, Rap Raven. Let me actually get the show ready. All right. Screen share. Prepare. Oh, yeah. And there it is. Yep, that's the one. Share. Fantastic. Look at that. There we go to full screen or read mode. There you go. Fantastic. So, this is the Black Bear Broadcast. I am your host, Rap Raven. This is the 208th show. That's 208 attempts at working with the Black community to fix Black challenges worldwide, locally, and globally. Hurrah, hooray, fantastic. So let's go through as we normally go through, shall we? So don't forget to follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram page. It's there for you. Maybe I should copy that as I do every week. I'm sure people are just eager to go and jump and start following immediately. There you go. Let's put that live there. Cool. So we start as we always start. And as I suspect we'll be starting for many weeks to come. And that is, we discuss the triple tragedies, which are white supremacy, anti-Black racism, and the Maafa. Very big words there, very big words. And those big triple tragedies contribute to the double dilemma, and that is, we are despised, we are disorganized. Yes, don't forget it. Use it everywhere you go. Very important. We are despised, we are disorganized, which is a double dilemma. But yeah, so those people here, this probably are like not best pleased with such an outcome, such analysis. But there must be a solution, and not to why there is. The solution is Black Bearman, a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. Sounds simple at first, and it is actually very simple indeed. But it is not simple when you have been trained to do such things, you see. And that's why we have this broadcast that trains, teaches, and works with Black people to promote a lifestyle of fixing issues in the community. Sounds like super science, doesn't it? No, sir. It's actually common sense, but we're making it common. That's what we're doing. Big up, brother Kel in the house. Good to see the brother. As we go through, two types of Black Betterment. Oh no, but then we're going to go through the triple track. No, we'll go to the. There we go. The 40 values. So we send the link out as we tend to do, week to week. And like I said, this is a Black community show, so any brother or sister can jump on at any time and have their say and discuss the topic or introduce a topic if it kind of correlates in some kind of way, or maybe if it doesn't. But when we do, we would like us to uphold the discipline, the dedication, the discernment, and the dignity, which is the 4D values. So this is what we are dealing with. There you go. Also, if we can use descriptive language and not derogatory language, that would be very helpful when finding solutions and to minimize anxiety amongst the fantastic community. All right. What else are we dealing with? So today's unfortunate topics today, yes, and that is the murder of Black women. What do we do with Black men who murder Black women? This is a very tragic thing, something we want to definitely goes in all communities, but when it goes on, it must be stamped out immediately. It must be, we have to have a way of raising young boys to respect women and to definitely be a part of the process of protecting women and not harming women. And also something that it's kind of a segue, Skin Bleaching Africa. How big is skin whitening in Africa? Very important topic there. It's an issue around the world, generally since Black people were colonized, kidnapped, and I guess compromised. This has been an issue. It's been an issue in other communities as well. This hatred of melanin, but it goes on, and I decided to do a topic about it this week because I was watching one show or one kind of case study, one kind of story or whatever, and then what I was observing, it segued into this. I was like, oh, this could actually be another topic. So I'll break down how I got there. But it's obviously a topic that everyone knows quite well. So yeah, all right. So let's start the show. So how we normally start, family, is I go through random videos that comes in my algorithm, and we discuss the Black Betterment's approach to these videos, if there is any. So we're going to do that before we start the two fantastic topics. We're going to bring up Brother Kinkel in the house as well while he's getting used to whatever he's doing. It's always good to see brothers in. And if anyone else wants to jump on, just click on the link that is always there. That's right. Click on the link. All right, where are we? The shows. Where are the shows? Database, the shows. I think it's here. So let's see, what's the first one we can do? No, that's actually a topic. Oh, this was that important one.
Met him because...
Oh, no, not that one. Let's say this one. This was a sister. I'm going to approach this sister online.
Culture and safe spaces.
She actually, I saw the sister talking about, what is she talking about? Yeah, she was talking about something else. I think she was talking about kids laughing at a Yoruba name. And remember, for our ideology, we say we always want to reach out to any brothers and sisters, especially if they're starting out or got a small following, and offer help if they're doing something that you think is corrective or consistent or whatever. Yeah, she was talking about students laughing at Africa sound names, and she wasn't best pleased, and she tried to educate the children not to do this. I think she herself might be Nigerian, Yoruba. I don't want to quote. I believe so. I could be wrong though. Once again, my research isn't as good as it used to be. It was really just one click and read through, but I'm sure. But either way, she did this topic. I just downloaded. It was interesting. See if you guys can relate.
Are sacred. And just because you share the same skin color, history, culture, and safe spaces are sacred. And just because you share the same skin color as somebody does not mean that you're entitled to share their cultural safe spaces. So should you frequent or go to these safe spaces, it's really important that you participate as an observer. And if they say it is carnival and not carny, you don't call it carny. Now that's out of the way, I want to speak specifically about the ways I've seen Caribbeans speak online about carnival and what I think is lying beneath the surface in some cases. I went to school in the 90s and the noughties. I was one of 2 African girls in my entire year. So I know exactly what I mean when I say that it was not cool to be African during this time. Being told our hair was picky from people who looked like us, to people laughing at our parents, their accents and what they wore.
So this is talking about going to school in the 90s and noughties, as they call it. A very interesting name. And her being of African descent and having people from the Caribbean mock phenotypes that's very prominent in many African people groups, but also extremely prominent in the Caribbeans, and more so especially the ones who are actually saying these comments. And I think she was just highlighting it. But something that if you guys will go into school in a certain amount of time, you might see that kind of self-hatred that goes on across the different nations and tribes and diaspora. And I always ask, did you get the same treatment from any Caribbean Pan-Africanists or Garveyites or Rastafarians? The reason I say that is because what we're trying to highlight is, without ideology, without actually having someone raise you to do something, you will always hate black people. It's very important you understand this. If you haven't been raised with any kind, big up family, big up Brother Kinkel. If you have not been raised, if you're born in this land, any land, and you haven't been raised to particularly love black people, particularly look out and support, there's extremely high chance that you're going to do the opposite and despise and hate. You see? And what we tend to do is we tend to focus on the 2 groups or nations or collective groups that have self-hatred amongst each other, but we don't see the root of it or why that is. And we also definitely don't go to the solution of it, which is this show. And you don't have to follow the ideologies of the show. Particularly, you can have your own spiritual or tribal or ethnic or whatever it is ideologies, as long as they have a B1 philosophy. Black first, black love, that kind of stuff. We big up the Rastafarian community in the Caribbean because they were there, and also Marcus Garvey, brother Marcus Garvey, very important because they issued in that automatic kind of love and stance on black first B1. They did indeed. So we always have to give thanks to them.
The Rastafari
movement. Exactly.
Nibingi, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly. Very important. And unfortunately, when a lot of the brothers and sisters came to the UK, and some of them even in the Caribbean, like I was watching a Linford Christie documentary. Very good to watch it. But he really, when he came here, he really wanted to impress the Queen, and I think Eubank wanted to impress the Queen, and so that when they say that, you kind of know where their mindset's at. While the Rastafarians were looking for an African king and queen to follow, because they understood that unfortunately the king and queen of England, as nice as they might be, and the way they eat the tea and the crumpets and the kind of like cucumber sandwiches, and it's very elegant and this kind of stuff, very nice. As nice as they might be, you'll never really hear them talk about reparations for slavery or their role in it. So so they're never going to give you that kind of history. So you're trying to really align with them, but really you're probably better off trying to fix your own issues. And if you need a king and queen, there's plenty of them in Africa. Just pick one of them, as the Rastafarians did do, you see. So I would recommend a strategy like that. But we're going to carry this to the sister because she's got something to say.
Things are different now. I'm a teacher. I've been in schools for the past decade. So the divide is rapidly closing. And those teachers, they don't see your child as Black Caribbean or Black African unless they're looking at GCSE results. They just see your child as Black. But despite things changing, over the course of my career, I've still heard Caribbean kids say to the African kids, go back to your village. The residue of the hierarchy that I experienced still remains. I think there are some Caribbean people who are resentful about the fact that they're having to share spaces with Africans. They don't like the fact that when they go out now, they have to listen to Afrobeats. And the people that they once considered below them are now their equals. I'm saying a couple of things here. The first one is coming together as people shouldn't mean erasure. I'm also saying that what it means to be Black and British has and will continue to expand. And it's really important that stereotypes that once existed are being left behind in the past.
Okay, speaking of this, I won't forget. I'll maybe make a note now because I forget every day to approach her channel. It isn't too big, so it shouldn't be too hard to get her invited to speak or whatever it is. But it'd be good to because the channel's really good. It brings up a lot of community issues, and I think where she might be quite interested in, she's a teacher, I believe, a teacher of, I don't know the age group, but I assume very young if they're laughing at Yoruba names. Or maybe not nowadays, who knows? But yeah, I'll approach the sister and see what she's saying. So that's one video. If you want to, we're joined by Brother Kel, and by any means, Kel, if you want to say anything, just jump in and you can have the mic, as you know.
Yeah, I was just listening to what she was saying. I haven't really heard anything about the Afro-Caribbean saying things about the Afro beats. It's been very positive, to be fair. Last time I checked, the African Caribbean music is a branch of African music, man. You know what I mean? So something that I've never heard before. She was saying about the Afro Caribbeans, hey, the Afro beats. So
no, I think what she might have meant, I could be wrong, is when Carnival happened a year or 2 years ago. At that particular point, Afro beats was quite popular, and I think some of the stands were playing it a lot. And there was a complaint that, you need to play more Caribbean music or something like this, right? And then other people said, well, you played hip hop back in the 90s when that was popular, so black music, black. I think she was going there, you see, and then I think she was, and I once again, I think there was a few brothers who really unpacked this quite well and stuff, and something happened this year. I can't remember what. As in a good thing happened this year. So I can't remember, but I think that's where she's going with it. Oh no! What I was going to talk about is a few weeks ago we posted what it's slightly segue, but it's important. Buju Banton, he was talking about he loves Afrobeat and the fact it's getting popular, but he would like to see more like liberations in the lyrics, and because he says he's a Jamaican African from Jamaica, and he's always speaking about liberation of Africa, so he expects Africans to be on the front line, and I think that kind of might have ruffled some people. Some people agree, some people, didn't agree, whatever. And we tried to cover, the response to that last week or the week before. But I don't know if that's connected to, but there has been that feeling about something here and there. But once again, it's a good topic for us to discuss. But that's that sister's perspective, and we'll invite her over. She can always come and give her opinion if she likes. Right, next topic: Afro versus Caribbean. White has been tributes to. Okay, that's the Skin. No, that's the show. Michael Jackson. We've done it before. We'll play again just for.
Michael Jackson has been forced.
So this is from 1995 MTV. Just to recap about how people get on code and this kind of stuff.
To apologize to the Jewish community for some lyrics in one of his new songs. They Don't Care About Us, one of 15 new songs on the History album, includes the line Jew me, sue me, followed by a similar use of the anti-Semitic word kike.
The king of pop caught in controversy again. He said he'd lose the lyrics that outraged critics. Now he's singing them again for his new video. Jackson promised several months ago to revise the lyrics to his song, They Don't Care About Us, lyrics many called anti-Semitic. Jackson's in Brazil now, shooting the video for the song, and Entertainment Tonight has learned he is still using the controversial lyrics.
He was in Brazil to shoot the music video for his song, They Don't Care About Us. Last year, he angered Jewish groups when he sang these words. Michael then gave in to pressure and changed the song. But in Brazil, the controversial lyrics were back. We showed footage of the video shoot to Rabbi Marvin Heyer, an activist for Jewish causes, who was outraged because last June, Jackson sent him a letter of apology for singing those lyrics.
I'm shocked. Jew me, sue me, kick me, kike me. Those are the words that he told us that he would never use again.
The most frightening thing, this is happening in the greatest country on the planet. What we have to do is condemn it. We have to make sure that these three people are isolated.
All right, so that's the Jewish community. They weren't best pleased in 1995 with Michael Jackson's History album. I think it was maybe one.
Yeah,
maybe Dangerous History. Yeah, and he was in Brazil amongst the brothers and sisters there, dancing and singing about injustices in the world. And I think he used Jewish people as a metaphor, or not as a example of either people being harmed or people harming or something like that. And they weren't best pleased. And this just shows you many Jewish people amongst the soul music as well as the hip hop music. A lot of they allowed black people to degrade ourselves, but if we ever was to say anything about anyone else, including them, they would shut it down. So that shows the on code mentality and how they understand how words can influence. So it's something you want to remember, that we want to get into the habit of where we want to remember that words can influence generations and they can make people do things that's good or not so good for your community. So if we don't want to eliminate certain words that are problematic, maybe you want to up more constructive words in there. Maybe you want to refer to black people as kings and queens. Maybe talk about more black economics. Maybe talk about don't kill each other, this kind of stuff as an actual thing, because you know that other groups understand this science so much better than us. That's why they will stop us from talking about them while making sure, if we talk about us in a negative way, let it go, doesn't matter, it makes money. You're only killing yourself. Very beautiful scene in Godfather, great ones, where they want to sell drugs, and then they say, we don't sell drugs, it's a dirty business, but then they say, you know what, if we're going to sell drugs, let the black people do it for us because they're animals anyway. Beautiful scene.
Oh, yeah, in that scene. Yeah, that's
very important. Very important scene. I hope they never edit it out because many black rappers, they always want to have Italian names for their gangster rap kind of personas. But watching Italian films, it's always good because Italian-based films, because they always let you know how they feel, and that's a beautiful bit of poetry there that to remind black people collectively you have no friends. Excellent. So there you go. So let's find the next one before we jump on the topic. Is there any more? Is that it? Cricket. That's a good one. Well, yes, let's listen to this one. It might be is it a bit long if it is also. This one's about cricket. The first, let's break it down. Black
First permanent black captain of the West Indies.
That's another thing. So when you start looking at the history of black people in sports, especially in the UK and America and these kind of places, or it's anywhere to be honest, any diaspora kind of place, even in Africa. But generally, what will happen is at first black people can't play, and then what will happen is black people are allowed, because the skill set and the amount of money that black people have always brought to sports like boxing, football, American football, cricket, blah blah. Because of the flair and the skill sets, it's a very alluring thing to watch, as you know. But what happens is many white people historically will understand certain symbolisms or certain ideas, so they're very, very wary about letting black people be a captain of a team or the owner of a team. See, this was the thing. So yes, you can play and score the goals and hit the sixes, whatever, but being a captain is an issue.
Well, it's political science, isn't it? Because remember, if they put us in any form of role, it will lead for us to start a revolution. And a lot of us don't realize that, even at workplaces, when I used to but I didn't have my own business. I used to work with the non-African. I noticed that whenever you're talking to a Sun person, the managers or everyone, they'll seem to want to disrupt it for some reason. Even if
Yes.
it's like a little break, it's like, what are they discussing? And it goes back to the plantation. So
Yes.
you being a captain in cricket or football, they have that phobia about if they can lead the team,
Yes.
they can lead a revolution, you know. So yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
By his retirement in 1963, he changed cricket forever.
He's most probably one of the most respected black people in the world at this point. He represented freedom for so many people. He represented a change in time.
Worrell was born into British-ruled Barbados on the 1st of August 1924. By the early 1950s, he was one of the most successful cricketers in the world.
Now Ring bowls to Worrell and a nice boundary brings him to the half-century.
In 1950, the West Indies toured England for the 4th time. The captain, John Goddard, was white, but their stars, Frank Worrell, Everton Weekes and Clyde Walton.
Just a recap, this is the West Indian cricket team, and even then the captain of the West Indies was a white person, probably born in England, or maybe born in the Caribbean by European parents who owned land and this kind of stuff.
Walcott were black. The West Indies won the series 3-1, but back home, men like Worrell, because of their status, couldn't even vote.
We went to the same churches and drank from the same communion cup. I don't think there's any suggestion of hatred of races. It just meant that you found yourself in a different clique on leaving school.
Frank was put aside because of his colour, not because of his ability.
But by 1960, he could no longer escape the momentum for change in wider Caribbean society and became the first black captain of the West Indies.
Frank was so outstanding. When the time came, they couldn't deny him the opportunity. He couldn't be beaten.
He moulded a team that would soon be the best in the world, and in 1964, he was knighted. Worrell sadly died from leukemia in 1967, aged 42.
Very young. We got that brother there. But the Black Betterment perspective of this is just how being a captain was a thing, and how even today in many sports, captain ownership, black people leading over. Very good case study as well is the war. We covered a lot of the First and Second World War, not allowing black men to have guns to shoot at invaders and Nazis or whatever it might be. So that even though they despised the Nazis and they will try and destroy them, they kept on code that even though we despise these Nazis, we despise them, their ideology, their history, everything, we understand they are still better than the black man who is here to help us win against them. So you have to understand the history of this. You see, we have to teach this kind of history to unpack it so black people understand collectively you have no friends. The history is still there. You just have to connect the dots there. But either way, even if you have friends or don't have friends, the primary is how do you fix your own community? And I think I'm going to bring out some new words that I've been working on of how to describe certain things. Just so, like for example, we always talk about the importance of black love, and obviously the biggest pushback I ever get in the world is promoting black love. It's without question. I mean, I've been banned from Instagram 100 times from it, but I think a way to tackle it might be something like say, okay, you are economically helping the black community. You see, as in like, so you go and we want you to economically help the black community. As I think if we put down to direct economics, as we've discussed before anyway, right? But having words to say you are a white economic supporter or something like that. I written the words down somewhere, and there's certain words versus a black economic supporter. So you put straight in the realm of economics, as Brother Ken was.
I think what's very interesting as well is the non-Africans, they live and breathe the cold, man. They're cold. They go to bed. They met love with it, whatever you want to call it, man. There is no chance or less of a blink of an eye to come off cold. It's like they literally understand that whenever you see black people, they are your enemy. And regardless if they're crying, never feel sorry for how they feel, and always use the code. And I think with us as a people, I don't think I know, is like there's always breaks with us. Like you'll hear our people when you try to explain to them, right? You have to literally like live and breathe this code, it's like it's oblivious to the thing, you know, you're extreme, or you know, when you're gonna have a break, you can't afford to have a break, because like what he was explaining before, is that the non-Africans understand, if we help you or train you to be in our wars, and you start killing people that look like us, you're gonna start killing all of us. So you know what I mean? They understand, man. And why would you let your enemy shoot your enemy that looks like you? It doesn't make any sense. Political science.
They understand it really well, really well. All right, don't hate. What's this one? Don't hate black. Oh, what's this one? Oh, yeah, segue to a bit similar. Let's have a sneak peek of this before we go. So this is the last video before we jump on the topics.
Hey.
So for those who are just watching the dishes and not seeing the screen, there's a European white lady from America and I think a black brother in a car. I assume they've got some kind of show where they're talking to women or something, as you know they all do. And it says white girl said, okay, we'll play it first. Okay.
Oh, what you gonna rate me 1 out of 10? 1 out of 10.
Like 11.
11. Word. All right, cool. So like, am I cute enough to be a sneaky link? That's the real question. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not into black guys.
You know, wait a minute. Let me get out the way real quick. Hold on.
Wait, who did they say?
How the hell? I'm 11 out of 10. But you don't like black dudes. What? How does that work?
Like if you were white, you would be 11 out of 10.
What?
That's got to be racist. There's no way.
Oh. If I was white, I'll be 11 out of 10.
All right, so yeah, very, 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 very important video here. So European lady, African brother, white girl, black guy. He's showing, I guess maybe he walks around asking women, you know, what they think how good he is. They do this now, it's kind of trendy kind of stuff. But the woman says 11 out of 10, which is surpassing, you know, the highest ratio. And he asks her, you know, would you get with me? And she goes, absolutely not. You're not from my community group. Very useful video. And this shows that regardless of, you know, how someone thinks you're the best looking person of all time, there is a code, there is a tradition, and there is an economic structure and standard, and you do not qualify. And obviously, this gentleman has never heard of such things, because the ideology that was fed to him is love has no color, and you know, Disney movie, you know, and this kind of stuff. And this is what we're working against. Fortunately, we are working to try to get the brothers and sisters to understand teamwork in all things. And like I was saying, if I was recommend if you're marrying out, that you know that's what you're doing, but rather than argue with someone, just say you are economically supporting the white community. That's what you're doing, and we want you to economically support the black community. And then here's why my controversial tone comes in, because the Europeans are economically superior to the Africans or the black people, and the black people are economically inferior to the Europeans. If you use those tones, I recommend it now. Very strong, very sharp. It makes people's heart jump, because you're trying to highlight that as a collective, we are not where we need to be. So when you compare, we are in a worse position because of the history of anti-black racism, this kind of stuff, which you can bring up. But use those words, inferior and superior, because we've been trained not to use them, because historically they were used to talk about genetics and this kind of stuff, which is false. We want to use it in a more correct term. When it comes to collective economics, because of the history, black people are inadequate at this, and we need to have methods to improve. And one of the greatest methods is to become constructive and find a constructive black woman. There you go. So anyway, we can now go into the show, but this is a very good video for understanding the mindset of the non-black person.
And it's also as well, it's understanding the strategies and its psychology. Like the fact of her saying, I'm only interested in the Iceman, which has a right to, it triggers the dopamine, isn't it? Like,
yes,
I want that I can't have. And I think that's what it is with the black man, the sun man. It's like, it's an ego thing of, how did I get rejected by a nice woman where I was supposed to go around the world and I could impregnate, you know what I mean? And that's how it's that thing of control. You don't have, not everything you have to say or you have to do. Her saying that it's a blessing.
Yeah, yes.
It's gonna help you to control your anxiety towards the devotion of them. basically save economics. You save the community
Yeah.
if you take heed to that.
Yeah, and remember, whenever you talk to brothers, always try to put it in the context of man to man. So always say, this is the daughter of the white man. You see, and because that way, that's you're competing with. Because sometimes people start putting competition between men and women, and that doesn't really work. You're better off competing with another male in the group. So what you're saying, so the male of the other group have conditioned the planet in a sense where you will now join their community to fund them, while our community is heavily underfunded. You see, so you are marrying the daughters of the white man or the Asian man or whoever man you want to throw in there, right? And go, unfortunately, notice this woman is putting her man first, her uncle or dad first. Like, no, I have a way I have to live that works for my community. My ancestors died mistreating you, so I can have a good life. I'm not gonna forget what they did for me. You see, and then it would be nice if the lady said, "Have you forgotten what we've done to you?" But I doubt they would do that. But that would be very helpful if the lady did. But why would they? And that's enough. I'm going to have a topic about things Europeans can say that would make life easier, but they don't. And I know you've been saying this, they don't. But the reason I say this is because I've been in many debates in Speaker's Corner and around the world and stuff. And, people always say, oh, what can we do to help? And then when I get, and then the brothers will jump in, yeah, what can they do to help? They're our friends, this kind of stuff. And then when I give a list, they don't want to do any of them. Not one. What they always want to do is join and marry. This is important. Anything else? No. So interesting.
If anything, Brother Raven, is that when you go to the non-Africans and you tell them, tell black people, my community don't like them. The non-Africans, they become like they get angry with you. It's like, what would I say that for? That's wrong. You know what I mean? It's their approach is very different, man.
Yeah. I remember going to Speaker's Corner early days, and so a brother came up to me and said, well, you don't let non-black people in the things you're doing, but you should. And what could a non-black person do, to get in your good favors? I don't know why they would want to, but I said, well, what they could do is they could not join, make sure they never join any black organization, as well as let black people know immediately when they see racism being practiced on black people, if in their family, friends, wives, kids, so forth. As soon as they see it happening, let us know immediately. And I remember the brothers always go, so you basically want them to snitch and become snitches. So then what happens, the brothers then start negatively painting very important strategies in defense of the non-black person and their cultural reasons and rights to mistreat black people in stealth mode. So I thought that was very interesting. That was, but you live and you learn. But yeah, so it's interesting. But I soon we'll do have to have these big dialogues about all these things, because once again I think we always remain in the dark. But family, that was the wrap-up show. Now we're going to go to the topic. The first one we're going to tackle is, unfortunately, this one will be quickly. Well, not quick, but the videos I've got are quick. It is unfortunate. We're going to first start with this one. Unfortunately, let's have a sleep.
Inside and out, the life of the party. That is how friends are remembering Cher Maximum after she was stabbed at Notting Hill Carnival on Monday in front of her 3-year-old daughter. Cher worked for Hakeem's charity, helping to run events that brought young people and music together. He'd spoken to her only days before.
She reached out to me. She'd seen that I'm doing some sponsored sort of runs and activities and stuff, and she messaged me on the Saturday to wish me good luck.
He heard the news and didn't believe it.
Yesterday I was on the tube and a news report come through to my phone, and I was just devastated. I messaged her and I messaged her and asked her if it was true, and obviously didn't get a response. So.
Cher died on Saturday morning from her injuries. Flowers and cards are being left where she was attacked. She was one of the victims of this year's event. Musier Mnetu, a talented chef who was visiting from Dubai, was killed in a separate incident. Their families are going through trauma that Sandra and Vincent are still living with. Their son, musician Takeo Nembard, was killed at Carnival 2 years ago. He'd gone with his sister to celebrate her birthday, but never returned.
I'm looking at those parents, and I know what they are going through. When they go home, they're probably going to feel like it's not real. But then it's going to hit them hard, and it's going to stay with them.
They are horrified history has repeated itself and believe enough is now enough.
It is not a safe place. I don't care. For me, it's not safe. And I can say it's not safe because I lose my son there.
They respect its cultural significance, but the event, they say, can't stay the same.
If they can't find a way to keep everybody safe, then yeah, I'd say to stop it. Absolutely. But if at least try the entry, the exit points, you have to walk through a metal detector. Something, because there's no other way it can get in otherwise. We have a mural for Keo.
2 years on, and the person who took Takeo's life still hasn't been found.
The 2 blue stars at the top represent Enzo and Kylie.
But his parents focus on celebrating his life every day. Now 2 more families are on that same journey.
Yeah. Oh, I think did it cut? Okay, but yeah, so unfortunately that there was obviously a murder in the last Carnival, and it's a shame because sister was obviously a lady and she had children or a child. Yeah, and it well, the thing is, the assumption is it was a young boy or a man who did it. I don't know if I haven't got any news if they caught anyone, whatever. But I think that the murder of black women, what to do with black men who murder black women. So this is one of the stories, and it happened last week. The reason we focused on this, definitely, we're going to do it anyway. But the reason we focused because there was also another, unfortunately, let's see if I do have it. Hold on, black news. Black news, white, no. Cricket, don't hate till Miss South Jews, pro-black. Oh, it must be this one.
Cheptegei has died after being doused in petrol and set on fire by her ex-boyfriend. The Ugandan athlete was being treated for burns on 75% of her body after the attack at her home in Kenya earlier this week. Cheptegei, who was 33, competed in the Paris Olympics earlier this summer. Her attacker was being treated at the same hospital after burning himself in the process. The Uganda Athletics Federation posted this tribute on their socials.
So the sister here, she passed away, unfortunately. So there was an argument about land, I believe, when she's come back from the Olympics. Uganda very good at many of the sports, especially the long-distance ones. And I believe she had an argument with her husband or boyfriend or ex-boyfriend about land, they say. And somehow he managed to burn himself and her in some kind of, I don't know how it is, but most unfortunate. And this protecting black women and and creating scenarios where it isn't a possibility that you would kill or attack a mother or a sister, this kind of thing. You kind of fallen where this happens, especially in this incident is 2 people knew each other. So there's a history, and as time goes by, you can unpack that history on why that can happen. But with the carnival one, this is 2 strangers. I read somewhere that maybe she actually tried to stop a feud. I don't know if that's true. And also, I have to mention as well, there was a chef from Dubai, brother, who also was murdered in the carnival, but we are focusing mainly on the murders of black women. But that brother is to be remembered, and it is a big conversation. But the question is, what to do with black men who murder black women? It's
the thing is that we do. It's on secret. We do security at the carnival, especially the Leeds one. We do that out there, and obviously there's a bunch of team of us. The police, unfortunately, they're very timid when they see loads of black people. You know what I mean? So how the knives get in is beyond me. But when we do the security up Leeds, you know, we kind of, if there's any form of like dodginess or suspicious behavior, then a team would kind of like pull the person aside, because you know you got the floats as well, Brother Raven, as well. You know what I mean?
That's
So you're
right.
behind them. Well, it's so, to be honest with you, sometimes it's planned, brother. You understand? Like the government will allow certain things in there, because I said to you, there's security in there. You know, there's loads of security in the carnival. I know that because we do it. I didn't do security this year because I was in Africa, but we normally do. So it's just kind of strange how the sister was murdered at the carnival. You know, when the security is supposed to be there. It's beyond me. So.
No, I hear that. I do hear that. Okay, can't do it. Right, so let me put this out of the way. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate, and if anyone has, feel free, family, to jump in if you have any opinions on anything. Let us know. But the topic's still there, but we're gonna go to the next one. But it's important to always raise there is awareness that any story where sisters are harmed, we want to try to bring up and say this is not the thing to do, and we stand on the side of protecting sisters all day long. This next one is Skin Bleaching Africa. How big is skin whitening in Africa? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you one story and then segue to this one, because it's like a 2-for-1. So as you know, last week we started the whole Miss World thing. So let's go through that story again. Hold on.
It's not an easy experience. It was really tough. There would be times where
this is the sister model who was she was born in South Africa to Nigerian and another nation, and the South Africans wasn't best pleased with her because of her name or something. They say she's not really South African. So they bullied her into leaving, but there was a European African deaf woman who they wanted to represent them. So that's the stories we know.
I wouldn't even feel like going outside, and I would really cry myself to sleep because I don't think that anybody deserves the kind of backlash that I have received. And I know that I've grown through everything. I've bounced back from all these challenges and obstacles, and it has just really proved the strength and the courage and the resilience that I have. So obviously I'm advocating for unity. I think my story is a very powerful story, and it can be very impactful because this is a lot of people that are not accepted, a lot of people that are still fighting for their identity, and I just feel like in order for us to move better and have a better future, we need to stand together as one. And I know that this is a very great platform for me to use and bringing all of us together as one as Africans. But
she was forced to kind of leave, but despite that, she still sees a value in all Africans identified as one. Let's see part 2 of this story.
Because of my name, people were not happy that my name is Chidima and I am representing South Africa. So that is where it actually really started.
Big up Empress Kushni, big up Melanie Goddess, and big up Brother Dominic. Very important contributor to the show.
And people felt like, South Africans felt like I wasn't South African enough because of my name. And it was really to see. It was a very horrible experience. I wouldn't wish it on anybody because I have lived there for 23 years. And it's heartbreaking to see that I wasn't welcomed and accepted. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're welcome here.
But you're welcome here, and you're the queen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big up Nigeria there. The Nigerian host doing the right response.
I just didn't want to talk about it, but it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking, and there were certain things that happened behind the scene that actually made me withdraw, and it was so heartbreaking to see that I had to withdraw close to the finale, and but a decision had to be made, and it really hit social media as well. Yeah, and there was some statements that came out from Home Affairs with regards to my mom's ID as well, and that is still a legal matter, so I'm not going to comment on that. But what I do know is that I was born in South Africa and I am a South African, and I'm still.
So that's what she was. That's what they went through. Let's go to the part 3. Let's see the part 3. If the video will let me open it. Part 3. Here we go. First one. Remove these videos, take up some space. Is it open?
The spectacular pageant finale held at the Sunbit Arena in Pretoria.
That was it. Yeah. So this is the video of the African woman who won the Mrs. South Africa, and there's the sister giving her a crown and congratulations speech. So this is the woman they wanted to represent South Africa. The black people wanted this lady to represent South Africa, but not the sister who was born there. They wasn't best pleased with that. And now here's the final one that segues into our thing. Where is it? Present? Or is it video? Yeah.
The thing is, Brother Raven, I've just come back from the continent, right? So
Yes.
I know about this anyway, brother. I know it's the continent. But the problem is it's the mountain people, the Bollywood films, and it's also the lighter Arabs, the propaganda films, because these things that, you know, Garvey said it best, you know what I mean, that the European man is a master of the media, of subduing people to think how he wants them to think, and those who submit to it, you become his slave. And what I noticed on the continent, especially when I grew up, and especially as my age now, and going backwards and forwards there, and that is that it's these programs, you know what I mean, you'll hear like they're learning Urdu and Hindi in parts of Africa, and that you're seeing like the modern day looking Asians, you see what I'm saying, and that you're seeing the modern day looking Arabs. And the thing is with these particular groups is that they feel privileged with their complexion. Do you understand? And because of the marketing skills, that to be in the best of light, you have to be like light brown.
Yes.
Right. That is what promoted. So when you go into the shops, because when I'm in Africa, we're doing projects, and there's no holiday in there for those who are wanting to do grassroots. But what I've noticed, like when you go into the corner shop, you'll see these creams. It looks like the mountain woman or the sun woman. You understand? Or the ice woman. So that there, and then you'll hear it. Like I've heard it myself. Like, you know, I know about the color code, because it's like, for example, in the Afro-Caribbean culture, and in a culture, and that red skin is a light-skinned black person. That's what we refer to as that. You understand what I'm saying? And that. But in, like, for example, in the Arab culture, or like, well, yeah, predominantly the Arab culture is like white. White is like when you're like a light brown. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that.
Yeah.
But over there, like if you're kind of black, right, and you're not white, meaning light brown, and this is amongst unsynchronized Africans, then they'll put you down.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's like you gotta get rid of these, and I'm gonna be honest with you, these Bollywood films, these like light Arab films and all that, they've gotta go, because it's affecting the mind, which is why the skin bleaching.
I'm joined by Empress. Welcome back, sister. Welcome back.
Greetings, family.
Greetings.
Sister, greetings.
That Betterment.
Betterment all.
For the
So this is the final video, but this is the video that segues into the topic. So let's have a listen.
It's been a fairy tale ending for the former Miss South Africa contestant Chidima Adetshina. After pulling out of the contest over xenophobic abuse, she was invited to enter Miss Universe Nigeria instead. It's the home country of her father, and she was crowned the winner over the weekend.
So congratulations. This is like a story from a Hollywood or an Hollywood film, pretty much an Hollywood film, to be honest. And you know, so, yeah, definitely. And she was born in South Africa to Nigerian and another nation parents, and they rejected her because of her name and not being born there allegedly, not being her lineage found there. They wanted an African woman to represent them, so Nigeria embraced her. She then won the Nigerian one. So I suspect I don't know if it's a growth thing, does she represent Nigeria against South Africa in a bigger tournament? Who knows? That would be good. That would be a great story if that happened.
Finals, isn't it? This is Miss Universe, isn't it?
Yeah,
Universe contest. Yeah. That's the biggest competitions. I know this because my olders used to watch this. This used to be a big deal, they used to wait for Jamaica. Like, this is one of them old school ones. If I'm thinking about the right one, I do remember. Like, I remember that this was a big deal back in the day for certain health. You get to show certain countries would, not like South Africa, but when you'd see Jamaica or countries for the continent and from the Caribbean, more times they'd look like us, right? And it's a beauty show. So it was one of those rare occasions where we used to really be able to, glorify ourselves or watch out or see maybe if we'd see one of us. I'm sure there was times where, just like South Africa, that happened a lot. But I just remember Miss Universe. So yeah, it's a big deal. So since she's been crowned for Miss Nigeria and the white woman's been crowned for Miss South Africa, they will all be up against each other in the Miss Universe contest.
That's a movie. That's a Hollywood movie.
It's definitely not.
You know what I mean? The Princess and the Frog or something like that. You have to have a name for that. Some kind of controversial name. Oh wow, that's good. I'll go watch that one if that comes out. All right.
I'm absolutely going to be following it. I think it's great that you are following this because it'll be interesting, even in the backlash and a response to it and things like that. It's just so, it's an eye-opening or reinforcement of what most of us already know, especially on this panel. But yeah, but definitely a Nollywood movie for real. And I'll be keeping tuned.
Yeah.
While we congratulate her, the event was tainted by a skin whitening scandal. Black contestants, including Chidima, were asked to promote a skin whitening product. Don't believe me? Here's a clip from the pageant's own YouTube channel.
After meeting these girls, we realized that it was a best decision to be part of this particular event.
It's Skin White Team Papaya, and we just want to say thank you very much to Skin White.
This is what we represent at Miss Universe Nigeria. I'm super excited. This is the cream and soap we use back at home. So it's like bringing family down here, and I'm so grateful. And all of us would like to work for this brand.
Yeah.
Can we stop that a minute, bro? And see what I'm saying, Brother Raven? You got the mountain man.
Yes,
you see what I'm saying in that?
Yes.
You see, he's cheerleading, having the tournament of Sun women get it, and this is what it's like on the continent.
I know.
Don't get me wrong. Go to Africa, those who know, invest in there. You know what I mean? But this is what it's like. What I notice when I go there, you get the mountain man. He's waving at you, and he's trying to tell you about how women's supposed to be in that, and he's always talking about his women, and I get the kick out of it to let you know, but I'm not from your community, and that, you know what I mean? But this is it though, you know what I mean? You get a mustache, mountain man, advertising, skin bleaching, you know what I mean? And that this is unbelievable.
It's a lot. This is actually, let's take that back a piece. This is actually a horror show. Let's really look at this. This is the Nigerian Mrs. Universe show. Okay, let's take it back.
Scandal. Black contestants, including Chidima, were asked to promote a skin whitening product. Don't believe me? Here's a clip from the pageant's own YouTube channel.
There's the guy there just demonstrated. Go ahead, sister.
Do you mind just rewinding that again for a second, please?
One more time. Okay, there it is.
By a skin whitening scandal. Black contestants, including Chidima, were asked to promote a skin whitening product. Don't believe me? Here's a clip from the pageant's own YouTube channel.
After meeting these girls, we realized that it was a best decision to be part of this particular event.
So he said after he met the contestants, this was the best time. It was the best time to be here. Like after witnessing the Nigerians, the models, this is the best time for our product to promote what we're about. And it's called Skin White.
It's definitely a Nollywood because I'm seeing the horror part right now. Like this must be the horror aspect of it because I'm literally cringing.
Yes.
And the thing is, Skin White, that's such an old school brand. Number one, this is why I wanted you to rewind it because I didn't know if this was for all of the African contestants or the Nigerian particular contestants.
Well, no, this is Miss
Nigeria, so it's all the Nigerian women contestants.
Yeah, this is just for Nigeria. So this Skin White has sponsored the Miss Nigeria Universal Qualifications, whatever it is. That's what I'm getting from here. And then
banned as well.
Is it banned?
Yeah, those products, like you're not supposed to be able to. But again, like what Brother Cal says, and this is what frustrates me about our community, the way we let these people come in. Like it's just unbelievable. Like because you can go to like a hair shop and you can still purchase these things. They're under the table, even in the UK.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, Sister Kushti, that mustache looking man, he's chasing the dark skinned woman in Africa, you know. He wants her and that, you know what I mean? And
Dark skinned woman.
He's chasing them.
At a pageant, giving her chemicals to mash up her skin at a beauty pageant. I mean, the messaging on this is so messed up on its own. How are you marketing this to young women? How does this how do you have something so righteous like doing the right thing for the new Miss I forgot her name, but you know what I'm talking about, the South African girl. You do something like that, so righteous on one hand, and then you let this mountain man, like do you know what I mean? Like the freeze frame as well. When you and Cal are together, it's deadly, because that freeze frame as well. That's why I was just on mute, because I was just like, you've got nothing good to say. Let me just stay on mute because I know the rules.
He's half Roman, half Persian, not from the original indigenous Asian black, and he's there talking about skin bleaching, and he's half Roman. It doesn't make any sense.
And they're rubbing the actual chemical. You're actually seeing them rubbing these poisonous chemicals on the dark skin. Like, what are we doing, Nigeria? Like, come on. Like, talk about missing the mark. Like, you do something like that, and then it's always down to that's solely money. That's solely money. But for that, whatever extra thousands that this man gave you, because you know it's not going to be millions. You know he's probably got a deal somewhere. You know he's probably manipulated him. Right, so for that you've just tarnished something that could have been so liberating for so many black women, African women, and you just put that on coincide to the righteous move that you made. It's like it's honestly
very shocking.
Oh, is there any more to this?
Well, it ended there. I've got 2 more videos of the topic, just about skin bleaching in general. But in regards to
follow up on this. So we're gonna sorry to interrupt, but if we're gonna keep an eye on this, and I'm definitely gonna thanks for letting me know. But I was just flying high on, Nigeria took the reins. Do you know what I mean? Like there's gonna, like you said to me, I was thinking like this is gonna be a big kind of battle off, if it gets battle. And so I was kind of riding high on that. I did not know about that. So give thanks for that, bro. Definitely gonna pay attention to that.
Well, the thing is, they asked her to do it as well. So they asked all the compatriots, what they call
contestants.
Sorry, the contestants to, and I thought this is shocking. Look, it's similar somewhat to last week. Last week we were covering cosmetic surgery, and we unfortunately covered a sister from the UK, I think London, who went to Turkey to get I think. Is it these kind of buttocks? BBL kind of stuff, right?
But she got a mummy makeover. She got the full works. The one who passed away.
Well, she also the one who died in Turkey. And when she came back, she had organs missing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. Organs.
Organs.
Yeah.
And so she paid money to go to Turkey to get this BBL cancer, and she died. And then they sent it back. They refunded the money, saying, "Yeah, we won't take your money." And then the person who did the operations left the company. So they won't give them information where they are. They won't do anything like that. And then they obviously pushed the sister's body to be examined here, and they found out that organs have been missing. And they're going, so what's happening? And there's no accountability, no fines, no research, nothing. It's just done. This is very, very shocking for me. That was almost like what I'm gonna try to do more research on that one, but
Yeah,
that can't be a full stop.
No, the fact that it's been the full shops speaks volumes. Like what? Like no, because this is Europe. So you say that she's, a British quote unquote, right? For all the liberals and the humanitarians, right? And the we are the world of us. This citizen went across to a neighboring country. It was Turkey, right? It's in Europe. And you can receive a body back with its organs missing, and it's well. Like, where's the outcry from our fellow outside of the fold brothers, quote unquote brothers and sisters? Where's the feminists? Where's the feminists that we're all sisterhoods? And there's a woman coming back. She was a mum as well.
Yes.
Organs gone, no one cares. Where's the mainstream media of a mother coming back, who's now passed away, leaving behind children in this country, who's a citizen of this country, and her organs are missed? No one cares. No. Like, this is the irony. Like, it's the irony, and no one gets it. Like, we don't get it. I wouldn't expect anything for outside to get it, but it's us that don't get it. But we'll steady there, start screaming for Palestine and every other cause going on. Do you know what I mean? It's wild. Like, we're always fighting for everybody else's cause when these so-called people want to tell us that we're all on one. But these, where's the feminists? Where's the sisterhood? Where's the humanity in this? Where's the mainstream media? Where's what happened to the kids? Like, what's gonna happen with the kids? Like, they're all silent. But when they've got their problems, we're the first one to shout and champion for their problems. And this is why this narrative of Black women are the most unprotected, most disrespected. It constantly echoes. Constantly echoes truth.
Cadell.
I agree.
For Cadell, something did go catastrophically wrong just hours after she took this picture.
I'd asked a few times how long she...
So wait a minute. So after, does that mean she had the operation, took a picture, then was found dead? I'm trying to work out how that works.
We're going to be, and they just kept saying she's coming, and then I got a knock on door, and 3 people walked in and just said, "Can you come with us, please?" They just started trying to say, there's complications of surgery, and I just said, "As my sister died," and he just said, "I'm sorry, but yeah." They just passed me an envelope, said, "This is your money back, and this is your sister's money back." And they said, "You fly." Sorry, she's dead. Here's a plane ticket. There were nothing.
Leanne was refused access to Cadell's body. When it was finally returned to the UK, more devastating news was to come. To their horror, a coroner here told them that large parts of Cadell's organs, including her brain and heart, had been removed.
When they returned her body, they'd kept pieces of her heart and her intestines.
How hard was that to hear?
Better. I don't think it was allowed, but they said it's legal. They can take what they want. I thought you'd have to ask at least permission from family before you took anything, but...
They sent a death certificate straight away and just put no, there's not even a cause of death.
We wanted to investigate this further in Turkey, but authorities there refused our visas, providing no reason why. From their Istanbul surgery clinic, expert insists that no evidence of organ trauma was found, and Cadell's body left them untouched. They say an internal review found no malpractice, and her death was likely caused by fat blocking a blood vessel, a risk in this type of surgery.
Günaydın, ben operatör Doktor Sinem Singhan.
ITV News can reveal Dr. Sinem Singhan is the surgeon who operated on Cadell. She's now left the expert but is performing the same procedure elsewhere. She refused an interview on camera but told us Cadell's death was due to a known complication of such surgery, not medical malpractice. Back at clinic.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Imagine the authorities can block people coming over now. When is that okay? Someone got murdered on your soil and you can't even go over to.
Yeah.
And that's okay. When does that happen?
So it's really unfortunate. This is. I mean,
It should be just a warning to
yes.
For black women, anyways. Like, you know, this. Just go gym, man. Just go gym. Like, it's not worth it. It's so worth it. And this thing, it's so sad. Maybe it's because it's too soon, but it needs to be a warning. You know,
Yeah.
that procedure anyway is one of the most lethal procedures. Anyway, there's doctors who refuse outright to do it. There's like, you know, when it was back in the day when we were younger and it was only in Hollywood and it was like the elite white that used to get this done. Even those top surgeons who are like at the top of their craft and get accolades for that refuse to do these kind of surgery. So the fact that it's going to like somewhere like Turkey anyway,
Yes.
wild, like that spun me. I can't believe that even could hit off. I could not even fathom going to Turkey to get like plastic surgery. Yeah, that was crazy anyway. But the fact that it's one of the most lethal ones where predominantly where the experts refuse to do it, and then you've got kinds of poor man's version in another country, and they've got the power to take out your organs. They've got the power for no one to investigate, and then on the birth certificate, there's no reason for death. That's okay.
Like death certificate,
It just shows you, like, number one, as a black woman, how dangerous it is for us to get these procedures, and the places where we're going have no value for our lives whatsoever.
No, absolutely not. And this is why these have to be the stories we use to give like cautionary tales and fair warnings, and this is where we talk about the black health being important, as in your physical health. And I mean, when it comes to the marketing and branding of what will motivate people to want to spend a certain amount of money to alter their body for the latest trend of how people want to look or whatever, we need to create scenarios, a system where we value the uniqueness of each kind of shape. You know, we value how people look, but we also put a value on actually being healthy. So you are exercising, this kind of stuff. But the uniqueness of how people look, we should be promoting that. You know, the diversity of look.
But we should also market, because sisters forget the all of the rest of the women, they trying to be you. You see what I'm saying? So it's like reminding the Sun women that, you know, they're trying to catch up with you. But all you need to do is maintain, as what Sister Kushi was saying, go to the gym. But they all want what you have, and marketing that, because you know, to do all, we've got different types of looks and things like that. You know, they want black. They want her complexion, her physicality, and they want that mind, because you know the black woman's the only one that can kind of channel her mind without being too nervous. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that they have that anxiety that on the black woman, when she, when she talks, she can articulate herself without kind of acting on her too much, without being disruptive or question, or did I do this or do that? Whereas the other women, they can't do that. So just reminding the black women that they all want to be used is definitely marketable, man.
I agree. I do agree. So that was what we covered last week, and I'll play one. Go ahead, sister.
To touch on that, sorry, brother.
Great.
Brother Cows, well, I agree. It would be good for the brothers to do more of that as well. I think that would be a good thing, because I think when Brother Raven was saying the kind of the mentality of why a sister would go and things, I think there's always been a problem in the West, even with their own women with body issues, they always had in, like, growing up, it was like, what is it, heroin chic? So it was like in fashion to actually look like you're next to death. There was like, about, you know, does my butt look too big in this? That was a bad thing to have your.
Yes.
So like to be like in my age group, to see how everything has shifted is actually very wild, because I still remember when there was like diet fads and everything was about dieting, and like to be thick was like an absolute no-no in any capacity, have any kind of weight in the mainstream. But the black men, if you look at, like, especially pure hip hop, and they've always loved the physique of you know, big round booty and stuff like that. So while these two things were going on within our community, we overs. Do you understood? Like, although this is what mainstream was going on, we had an understanding. Something happened with our generation where we just merged with the mainstream. I truly believe that. And this over sexualizing of the black physique kind of made it a caricature. And although there are women who are naturally built beautifully like that, like look at Sarah Bartman, for example, the African woman that they had in the Human Zoo. But our bodies, like what Cal said, has always been a thing where they marvel at, sexualize. You know, because all she was doing was just being, and she was automatically a sexual object just because of how she stood, how she presented, how her body looked. So I think all of that kind of worked into our psyche, because when no one's immune to the propaganda that we're constantly getting fed. And it is a big issue when now that was the look, where to now there was a recent interview with ZZ Mills.
Yes.
I don't know the artist, but it was a big artist in America, had the BBL, all of it, had breast, like everything, the whole shebang. And she was sitting, I don't know if you've heard this, it was a few weeks ago, and she was sitting on the couch saying, look, she wants to get it out. She wants to take out the butt injections. She goes, you know, it's not practical for life. She can't fit into any clothes. It's very uncomfortable. She wants to take out her chest. She says, she literally said that her frame naturally was very petite and small, which you would not believe looking at her. It's like, now, this is what happens when you chase a fad. Now, the in thing is to take it all out. So they're all trying to take it out, and they're saying that the natural looks in. You've got this big push about fitness and things like that, and just gaining, you know, being the best you. Do you know what I mean? In the natural way. And I just think that this is a problem, because she can afford it, barely probably, but she could probably afford going to somewhere and getting that done. Someone who's gone to Turkey, that's their whole life set up. They've paid, they've saved up for 30 grand. This is it. Do you know what I mean? So you better make sure that you're doing this for you and not for a trend that will change in 3 months' time. Exactly. And then what? Are you going to go back to Turkey and get it all taken out? Like, this is your body. It's not a Lego toy. So I think all in the psyche of us. I think where we used to look at mainstream before and see it as them lot and mainstream, now we see any propaganda as us. Like we feed into it. I think that's one of the problems.
Yeah.
Long way of putting it, but I just want to kind of explain it, if that made any sense to family.
No, it makes perfect sense, because I do remember, like, if the ice woman, she had the ironing board type of back, and like that. I don't have to worry about that, because we don't have that. But I do believe it's to do with the pornography and also the acting, because I've noticed the political science of when it comes to the acting is that women are not allowed to be voluptuous. They have to be kind of petite. They're not allowed. It's almost as if you are big, then you're going to be ostracized and you won't be able to become so that there. And you know, the ice woman, again, like, she has the ability to be slender and at the same time try and have a caricature of the black woman's physique. You know what I mean? She's still markets for that, and I believe that is what's kind of making the sisters kind of saying like, well, if the white woman can kind of go from slender to even bigger, then we can do it. She's the main thing that has to be eliminated as a representative of women, if that makes any sense.
I definitely think, you know, I'm not one to like to blame our music, but I will say that if there's one thing that I probably can't fight against when people talk about they blame hip hop, it is this body thing, because mainstream was pushing having a big butt, like what we all agreed. Mainstream was pushing mainstream was on code, right? So mainstream was pushing very accessible to their people, which was an ironing board. Do you understand? And then they forced that and they did every propaganda going to try and push that heroin chic is beautiful. You know what I mean? Because that's most of them. That's what they can aspire to, right? But this hip hop thing took over. They didn't want it taken over, but this hip hop thing, I think it took over. Where, you know, most of them women were natural anyways, and there might have been a few. I wouldn't say all of them, but how can we really know? But black women are naturally quite curvy, but it was just the cartoonish of it when it just went too far. Makes sense. Like the waist got very slim and the cheeks were getting huger and huger. It just didn't look like, scientifically, it just didn't fit, you know, where you've got it now where nothing adds up. You see some bodies and you just know that that's not how Most High made you. It doesn't add up.
That's right.
Yeah, so to jump onto that, there was a theory that I read, and it's just a theory, and it was, and I want to segue to another thing as well, but it was that the trans community, one of the reasons why they liked that kind of uniquely, distinctly different, extreme body shape, whatever, is because it allowed the men to try to emulate women, and because all the women are getting it done as well, it's harder to discern between who is a man and woman because they've all got the same operations. So before, if you saw someone who looked augmented very different, you'll think that must be a man trying to be a woman. But if the women are doing the same thing, then you know, it's hard to discern. And I know there's even open like gay rappers now who have this kind of stuff done. Very shocking. Very shocking.
You know, Brother Raven, I get that because
We've got also, sorry, I just want to really also emphasize that black women were always naturally shapely. So there's a woman that can have a BBL, like what Brother Cal said. There's a white woman that'll go and get a BBL, and I could show you 10 black women with the image that she's trying to create. You understand? So this is why I'm fixing on the cartoonish of it, like it's too big. Do you understand when it's getting like Jordan, like their equivalent of Jordan? Do you know, like went for like double G's, F's, or whatever the hell she was? You know, when it's just cartoonish. That wasn't us. That's when you understand this is infiltration. This is something foreign, because yes, we like curvaceous. Yes, we're naturally curvaceous. We're blessed, but the caricature of it is not of us. This is that aspect of it is, I think, is the poison. Do you understand? Like,
yes, I know that.
It's weird science.
But to add to the segue, so yeah, in the sense of this extreme kind of shape, if women are doing it and trans are doing it, you can't really tell from certain angles who is a woman, who is a man emulating, whatever. And speaking this slightly segue. Speaking of trans topics, it might not be true. I don't know. But apparently, in the R&B days, there was one particular famous transition person who was in all of the hip hop videos.
Yeah, I heard.
Yes, and this particular individual was the love interest from Busta Rhymes, Biggie in a particular video. many
Oh
times.
no.
LL Cool J, and many videos. This individual was the main uh, vixen.
interest.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
interest. No, they said that the gentleman didn't know, and this would have been the directors who did it. And the reason why I might believe that is there's a scene in one of the videos where a woman walks to the male toilet and tries to emulate how men use the urine kegs or whatever, right? And at first,
Really?
yeah, people thought that was comedy. But now, yes, but now in retrospect, now someone said that unfortunately this individual was murdered, but I don't know how true that is. As in, someone found out that this is what I don't know if this is like some kind of folk tale or so, but apparently apparently, and I think even now this might be just coincidence. When you read LL Cool J's lyrics when this individual first appeared, he says he, she, delicious or something like this. So I was like,
oh no.
Yeah, this is I don't know. I don't see once again. I don't know. This is just the wind blowing and things falling in the way. Yeah.
It goes, he, she.
Wow.
Delicious. Yeah, he does say that, but when
Yes.
I questioned him about it, he says that's something that they used to say back in the day because he was young in it, like he was young when he done that song. So like he was saying back in the day, he used to hang out in the corner, and that's what they used to say. He used to go up to his boys, and they used to just say that like he, she. So that's why he put it in there. I mean, I know it's very weak, but it's actually so weak that it's actually believable because boys are just boys, and it's like saying gay or something like that back in the day. I don't know, but like you said, bro, when you add it all up, it just adds up. It just it shouldn't be so much things adding up.
Yes.
Like you're the vixen or the love interest in every video.
Yeah.
Like top hitters, like what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? Then you scream that he, she, then it's just too it's the evidence, it's just too coincidence, coincidence. So
Yeah, and this is the thing. Obviously, I'm not behind the scenes when things are going on, but obviously with a lot of the latest arrests and stuff, there was many black celebrities who were engaging in certain, modern, trendy kind of stuff, contemporary interactions. Now, and I don't know how many of them, they're in, I don't know what was going on or what was happening, but I mean, if that's going on, that is definitely best kept between them and not mainstream.
It's definitely isology, brother Raven.
Yes.
Isology, man.
And people are trying to connect dots, saying that some of these young black brothers, they would have had these things done to them by older European executives, and that's how they were getting. And it's not really it's not like an alien thing to think of. Certain people are allowed to be in certain places by the things they do. I myself have been in like award ceremonies and being on acting sets and music things in the past. And as soon as I got there, I really started seeing funny behaviors, and I was like, "This is interesting. Like, what's going on here?" And it was like, now I wasn't around it, but I saw it, and it's still that for me coming from like East London, whatever it is. This is I'm seeing like this just seems a bit odd. Or this person seems a bit off.
It's a bit of a mad thing, and I can imagine.
It was. I remember speaking to I remember I was at some what do you call it? Like not awards, the showing of a movie. So I had to do some acting, some movie thing, and they were showing to the the before it gets released. Premiere, yeah. It wasn't a premiere. It was you show it to people before it goes out to the public. I forgot what they call that, but there's an interesting name for it. And I'm talking to some brother, and when I was talking to him, it was a black brother. And I remember as I was talking to him, a white guy ran up in between us, right? He said, "So what's going on here?" And when he said that, his voice was very contemporary, very this kind of stuff. Yeah, and I thought, oh, what's going on? And then I think, oh my days, is this kind of like some kind of thing where this guy together, and I'm just here talking to brothers. Trying to keep real whatever, and this is like a thing. So I read that, I was like, I was really kind of feeling away there. I was like, this is a bit peculiar. And then there were some other things I started noticing about some of the guys and don't get me wrong, maybe maybe like the acting industry and the movie industry is a place where people of a new kind of lifestyle, this is where they thrive best. I don't know. I'm not really in it like that. But yeah, I just coming from where I came from, it stood out for me. There's certain things. I was like, okay,
yeah,
what's going on there? And not the segue, but if you guys don't know, there's this whole pushback, which is a good case study anyway, in the mainstream at the moment when it comes to video games and movies and drama shows, of where what they've done, they've taken this word woke and they're rebranding it as something evil. And the traditional white mainstream kind of men are rebelling against like the lesbian and LGBT and feminist coalition, and they're calling their ideology woke. So for example, they'll watch when a film.
Though, haven't they? Just
say again.
They've been doing that for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, but now it's actually in the video game market. They're trying to like sabotage certain projects that they deem woke, and Sony have released some very expensive games that have now been shut down within 2 weeks because of many things. But yeah, they're rally behind it and this kind of stuff. But they're using this word woke really to shut it down and say. And don't get me wrong, this kind of woke concept has got nothing really to do with black people apart from taking the. It's just like that thing where. Yeah,
as per usual.
Yeah, they take that. But what it is it's most of the LGBT are trying to have a new way of making drama shows, right? And that's like tick every box and change the race of certain people and make sure there's 50% homosexuality in the stuff and this kind of thing. And obviously, but what's happening is black people are being brought into that. As in, oh man, now the star of the new Star Wars movie is a black woman. Oh no! So now black people names can come up like black people are doing. Not that there's anything wrong with black women. If anything, we want to see black stars, but it's the way they do it. Like they'll change a character who was traditionally a straight white man into a black lesbian woman, and and she won't be appealing in the model sense. She'll be more like a woman who's struggling with health or whatever. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? This kind of stuff.
Is it mandatory to do that then now though, bro? Is it mandatory? Because I've seen certain films where it made no sense. Like there was a whole plot in a film, and this has happened a lot, like with series, movies, especially black ones, where I'm watching them, and there's a whole plot that makes sense, and then randomly she's lesbian, or randomly,
yes.
Like, I'm talking about it. Just it felt like it was mandatory to have it there. Like, okay, we've got sponsorship from Coke, so we've got to have a Coke in there, and we've got Activate. Like, it just too much. Like, I'm telling you, like every single thing I have watched recently has to have something to do with a homosexual relationship. And better if it's something to do with the main character. Do you understand? And because they know the audience, it just comes out of the blue. You don't even, it's literally a normal kind of thing, and then randomly you'll just see them, and it's just explicit. They might just randomly be engaged in that, or it is just like it's number one, so like blatant.
Crowbar. It's called a crowbar.
Okay.
Crowbar. Yeah. So just so you know, I've been doing some research for a couple of months now, and yes, I found out that it's an official thing. So Netflix, Prime, some other movie studios, and games as well, they have a quota, and they have a company that goes to these companies as they're building the products and tell them, here's what you have to have, and if you don't have this, you won't get funded. So there's a franchise called Warhammer, and it's an 80s franchise that deals with it's English one, but it's like elves and goblins and this kind of stuff. And they had a budget to make a new one, and they said that if you're going to have it, you need to have 50% women and men. You have to have an LGBT kind of thing and all this kind of stuff. And this is against that kind of the Warhammer product is very racist openly, as in like it's an openly prejudiced game or whatever. So they're like, well, no, it's going against our brand because our brand is openly prejudiced, and they said no, you have to have this balance thing. So I think that's kicking off whatever. But you're just to conclude, that's what you're seeing. and you're seeing it like it's that. And don't get me wrong, the good learning, the good case study from this is how power works, right? Where it's like straight away they know how to influence people and they know how to influence a generation. The issue they're gonna have is they have minority ideas that they want the mainstream to adapt. So you have a lifestyle of a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6% of a population, and you want
extreme.
You want people to accept that, and it's gonna be like here's how black people convince the mainstream of black culture, right? Originally, everything black was evil, rubbish, demonic, and crap, right? That was the original thing. Then black people stayed in their own communities, danced, sing, made food, whatever it was, and it became so popular that the kids and the surrounding people wanted to do it, and then it became it's like you couldn't ignore it. It was too good to ignore. If you're an LGBT person or whatever it is, you have to come up with culturally things that the world finds very cool and go, you know what, I want to do that, right? You can't just crowbar stuff. You can't just, I'm watching a film about aliens and then all of a sudden everyone's having intimate relations with the same gender. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. I was watching
That's why they're getting a backlash, because they're just chucking it at it at this point. They're not even trying to weave it in. They're not, like, for example, look at the race relationships. We can see how bit by bit, how smart, how patient they try to weave that in. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Relationships like that, where, do you know what I mean? You had Alan from EastEnders, and then there was a prototype, and then it was this kind of prototype of these kinds of, I forgot what that comedian woman is. Do you know what I mean? Who did that skit, and she's got all of the brown babies. And do you know how you see it subtly coming in, then you see it in the advert. This one was just like you said, it's just chucked at it. It's just like randomly something, and then an explicit scene comes out. What are you doing? Like, it's crazy.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. So thank you for clarifying that, because you know what the problem is as well, is that they have no boundaries with this. So I've seen where they've done stories to talk about our history, and they've introduced characters, because although it might be a bio, they have brothers come in, if I'm getting this wrong, but they still have leeway to not necessarily say that all of these things are facts. So some things that on here might be exaggerated for the film, right?
Yeah.
So when you're watching this and you're getting it pushed of so-and-so's life story, so-and-so's bio, so-and-so's struggle, you're like, oh, this is about my history, I'm going to watch this, I'm going to get into this. And then you're seeing certain things that have absolutely had no place in history, didn't happen whatsoever. That's the problem. And I've seen so many things that have been inaccurate.
Yeah.
With this exact thing, where they've put in this gay scene and this person was not even alive. This is like a fictional character amongst real life characters, amongst a real scene that did genuinely happen. So now you know what they do best. What I always say, the confusion, right? Because they're blurring the lines. Because 95 of this is true, but that 5% where this big explicit thing happened, it might be 5%, but you're never going to forget that, and that didn't happen. So when I'm saying it's getting worrying. So if we can't change that, we don't have the power to change that. Talking about things like this and putting it out in the open, where this is an agenda now. This ain't just conspiracy theory. This is an agenda. Do you understand? If you can't see that by now, I don't know what's going to make you be able to see it. If what you said, I forgot what you said, but I'm going to look into that, which I know it has to be true, where they have a quota to take. This is agenda. This is facts.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's that's why you're seeing it, and let that be a good case study of how you get things done. You see, you know, like where we have like a template where we say, be constructive, be healthy, marry a black woman, start a black business, blah blah blah. By having actual rules and stuff and quotas, well, that they know that's how it works, and that's why we make a film. You have to have 50% women, 50% men. You have to have 25% lesbian. You have to have. I was watching Halo. Halo is a famous video game of shooting at aliens.
It is.
It is, and so my friend said, "Go watch the Halo. You used to play it back in the days." I said, "Yeah, I'll watch it." and they've got rappers like who are actors playing new age roles and stuff, and it's like they made one black actor. I mean, no one's gonna watch. It's not a shock, whatever. I'm not revealing any plot twist, but and I think they promoted it in the trailer, so it's fine. But there's a rapper who's also he has albinism. They made him blind as well as a homosexual. So it's like they'll tick in many boxes. A black man who has albinism, he's blind, and he's a homosexual. And they have him running down the street shooting people who can't see anything. I was like, this is getting silly.
But that's what I mean.
That's crazy.
Everything, including the kitchen sink.
This is getting
too
silly.
much.
This is. I mean, this. I was just waiting for him to start rapping and stuff. I was thinking, it's not getting silly. This shit. They're fighting aliens. I didn't understand it. So I was like, okay.
They made it as a comedy sketch.
I mean,
crazy.
I was like, what's going on here? This is a lot. My friend, I mean, but there's a friend of mine who's very into obviously the traditional Caribbean Rastafarianism, and he really respects the culture, and I mean, he says he can't watch the latest what they call the House of the Dragons, what they call the Game of Thrones, because he says there's all these kind of gay rustlers looking people. I was like, what are you talking about?
What?
He said
gay rustlers.
I said, are you sure? He says, why have they got locks for it, and why are they black, and they're doing all this kind of stuff?
They're blonde as well.
Are they? Oh, okay. He says blonde gay rustlers. I said, I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen that.
That's what I'm saying for the ice people, man. It's like it's difficult for them just to live the earth, leave things how they are. You know,
I don't know.
And they are almost, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's too well.
I don't know, man. That's just crazy. That is.
I don't know. And then obviously, I don't know. It's a lot. And then obviously with the modern stuff now, you're never going to find a black man with a black woman as his wife. And if they do, he's probably a maniac or something. I don't know. So but there's no point complaining really, because it motivates you to create a media station where you address all these issues and you try to give a more balanced.
Highlighting is important, bro.
Of course.
Because I just, to some people, like with yourselves, you can see it, but some people really don't.
No, they don't. They don't.
They really don't.
No, it's true.
So, because I had the same reaction. Like I said, I've watched some certain movies, and I literally just started busting up. I'm not supposed to be laughing, but it was so ridiculous. Like, so how many checks did this movie have to go through? This is what I mean. Everyone said that this don't look stupid. Like, you're doing a bit too much. Like, not complaining, but highlighting is key. In a world where misinformation is key right now and winning, truth to be heard and said. Do you understand? And factual. Do you know what I mean? It's not complaining if you're saying that, did you know that there was a quota? Have you noticed that, how ridiculous these are getting? That's key to highlight. And then obviously, and even you saying that actually makes me think, okay, because you'd get frustrated with the certain. In saying that though, I haven't seen a Spike Lee movie in ages. When you're talking about that, when the biggest streamings now are not necessarily the cinema, it's Netflix, Prime, and all the things that Brother Raven listed out, and you have to hit a certain quota in order for your movie to get in. If you've got some form of racial pride about you, you're not going to be producing movies like that. So therefore, your movie is going to get streamed on the new monopoly of media. They act like we've got choice, but they're just a new monopoly. They've just taken out the cinema, taken out the old school BBC and Sky, and now everyone watch Netflix, Prime, or something like that. So the only way for your films to get featured is by you exploiting your people. It ain't just about you having to do your own movies, but where are you going to stream it at now?
Because
it does make you think, like, look at where are all of the old school, like the prominent black writers that I can think of off my dome are 2 gay ones.
Well, it's funny you say that.
Oh no!
I've seen a tremendous amount of black gay movie writers. Almost like the majority are. And I think there was that film there was that film the Magic Black Person.
The guy who's done Black Panther, but the woman who's done those great movies, she'll come to me. She's lesbian.
Is it Ava? Is it Ava? Divat something like that? Yeah, man. No respect for that sentence there.
Yeah, she does beautiful movies and series.
She does.
But she is a lesbian. You've got
what?
Yeah, she's a lesbian, and you've got Tyler Perry, who. Okay, we'll just leave it there, and then we've got Lee Daniels. So those ones are the consecutive ones that I could say have really done mainstream, and they're all of that community.
Yeah, there's much more than that. It's much more like, but every time I do any kind of research, it's always the same kind of outcome, really. Speaking of funny things, The Matrix obviously was written originally, the Third Eye Matrix, by a sister who claimed that the Terminator Matrix, and
Sophie Stewart.
Yes, and they said that the 2 brothers who made the Matrix, one of them, both of them have become transitioned into women or something like this now. And what was interesting, I was watching
the 2 men.
What?
Right?
What they're called, the Swalowski brothers.
I think
one of them decided to.
One time, I think it was here where you showed it, and I was like, oh my.
Yes. The Swarovski, whatever it is, sisters. I think that one of them or both of them have become women. I'm not too sure, but is it both of them or one of them? I don't know. It might have been. It's very shocking stuff. But obviously, when I did watch the latest film. It wasn't to my taste. But what was interesting was there was a scene where they're looking at a statue of Morpheus, who's a prominent black character, and there's a guy who has no lines. He's like a background guard, and they just gave him lines to just walk forward to the camera, look to the camera, and says, "I want to have sexual relations with that man." I was like,
"Is that the last one?"
The last one. I watched that. I was thinking,
The point. I just like help, bro. Create the scene, yeah. So this whole time he's an extra. He's mute.
So basically, they're walking through a city looking for something, right? And they've got guards who are there. Who the thing is with acting, if you act and don't say lines, they only have to pay you a couple $100. But once you say a line, you go to the grands. So this guy is just in the background. You barely see his face. He's wearing glasses. A European gentleman, and all of a sudden they're walking past a statue, and then it cuts to him looking at the camera. And goes, "I want to have sexual relations with this man."
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
What was that about? I didn't get it. I was like, "Why?"
It's like that thing for Mortal Kombat. You need to move, bro. I hear that thing at it, like something like that, innit?
That's exactly what it is. It's just
a
man.
You know what? Every time, listen.
Trying to do, isn't that what's that word for that for back in the day? Is that subliminal messaging where they're just gonna keep saying it?
You know what? But the thing is, what Brother Kel was saying, Africans, anytime we see that kind of behavior, we need to play that sound effect.
Literally.
We gotta play that kind of sound effects.
You know what the problem is? We'll all be alone, or we won't be all together, and we'll randomly be around people, and we'll see something like that, and that will come into our heads, and we'll be busting up. And no one know why. You know, you can't.
That's the one.
Literally.
That is shocking. That is absolutely shocking. But oh man.
But this, remember, only Socrates graduated when the Greeks went to Nubia. And the reason why only Socrates graduated because they wanted to sleep with the Nubians, and the Nubians was like, "You're only supposed to here to learn, not to sleep with you." So the ice people, especially the Icemen, they have that inclination of, it's like they're searching for like a father figure, and they're associated with, for some reason, romantic love with the sun man. So it's definitely deep rooted in the
Sorry, they went there
what do you call it?
with the men, Brother Cal.
Yeah. So they again, sorry?
they went down to sleep with the men.
Yeah, the Greeks, yeah, they that's why only like if you look into the London Museum or if you read up on the history and that they always talk about Socrates, but it wasn't just Socrates, there was more of them. But those particular ones, they went to Nubia and they got attracted to the Nubian men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They wanted to so that Roman Grenco culture is deep rooted. That's why if you remember at school, I remember and that like they always talking about their fathers more than talking about the bits of the woman. You know what I'm saying? And that they're very fixated with the fathers of men, especially these films. I Want to Sleep with Morpheus, and that it's rooted into them. It's almost as if they can't help it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Hold on, family.
Tricky.
Let's see if this works. 1 second. Did you hear that? I gotta get the sound effects as far as I can press it. If you mention that stuff, I'm gonna press that. We'll get a strike. We'll get a strike on the channel. I don't know. Oh man. But yeah, no, yeah, these are very important points, and we're going to be tracking them. But we were talking about unfortunately things that we're influencing doing, and some of those things can actually cause casualties in the sense of the sister who went to Turkey and unfortunately she passed, and her sisters had to deliver this terrible news. What I want to do now is I want to play one woman in Africa. We were talking about skin bleaching in Africa, so I'm gonna. Where is it? I'm going to play the last video before we've got time. South Africa cosmetic model. What do I call it? It must be numbered, right? Surely. Because this is 2008. Oh, no, 2008. Here you go. Skin lightening cream. Matte Nair skin lightening.
I grew up, people always commenting on my skin color. People saying to my mother, where did you find her? Because I'm the darkest shade of my family. The darker you are, the more you experience discrimination against your skin color. The lighter you are from these communities, the more beautiful you are. As a result of that, you will see people using skin lighting products, buying skin lighting products to change their skin color because they want to fit in.
Amira Adawe is on a mission.
What new products came to the market?
She's in Nairobi, Kenya, researching how skin lightening products are being marketed and sold.
So these are some of the products that we bought, sets of skin lightening creams.
Skin lightening is a global issue, and Adawe first learned about it at a young age growing up in Somalia.
Back home, growing up in Somalia when I was very young, I used to see many people around me using these products. Some of my family members, my aunts, using these products. You will see like huge skin discolorations, like damage to their skin. So I was always interested learning about these products and what's happening internally.
In 2000, Adawe's family migrated to the United States. That's when she decided to study what's in these products while at the University of Minnesota.
When I was in graduate school and we tested these products and saw high levels of mercury, which we know that it's extremely toxic, that even increased my passion for this to combat these issues, both colorism and in skin lighting practices.
This passion led her to start the Beauty Well Project, a non-profit organization whose mission is to end skin lightening practices worldwide and bring awareness to the issue of colorism.
Colorism is something that is embedded in us from a young age.
Colorism is a topic that is sensitive to people with insecurities and people who feel like they're not worthy of feeling beautiful.
To me, any color or shade is beautiful.
And no one should tell you what the standards of beauty are.
Colorism is defined as prejudice or discrimination against skin color, especially within a racial or ethnic group.
The work that we do is to actually educate communities, and so we change the culture, because unless we change the culture, colorism within groups is going to continue.
In 2020, the skin lightening market was estimated at $8.6 billion. The United States makes up just under a third of that market. Many of the products contain levels of mercury and hydroquinone that are banned in many countries. But Adawe still can buy these products at stores both in the US and abroad.
I just went back to the mall, and these are the products that we tested. These products are available and it's not getting regulated.
All of these products were manufactured in Pakistan. Adawe was able to purchase them at stores in the US and Kenya. According to their Ministry of Health, in Pakistan, mercury and hydroquinone are banned in skin lightening products. It's unclear if the products are regulated. In the US, only trace amounts of mercury can be legally used in cosmetics.
The health effects from mercury can be a host of neurological problems, from depression, anxiety, to early childhood developmental issues.
Hydroquinone was banned in the US in September 2020, 14 years after the FDA recognized that it may act as a carcinogen. And in Kenya, both mercury and hydroquinone are banned, unless prescribed by a doctor.
People still tend to use these products because they want to look light, because that is the beauty standard that everybody in their culture or communities validates.
The skin lightening industry is a huge market to tackle, but Adawe is finally seeing success in her efforts. In 2019, Beautywell and the Sierra Club led a campaign to remove toxic products from Amazon's website.
We collected close to 25,000 petitions from people all over the United States.
They sent the petition to Amazon, along with test results for more than a dozen products found on their site containing high levels of mercury. Days later, Adawe found that the products were taken down from the online retailer. CNN received this statement from Amazon. We have proactive measures in place to prevent prohibited products from being listed, and we will continuously monitor our store. Those who violate our policies are subject to action, including potential removal of their account.
I have been working on this issue for the last 8 years.
In December 2020, after years of lobbying by Adawe, US Congress passed legislation that would provide $1 million in funding to the FDA to bring more awareness to communities impacted by this issue. But with an industry that is projected to grow by another $3 billion globally in the next 5 years, Adawe knows she still has a lot of work to do.
I define beauty my own way. I embrace my blackness, I embrace my Africanness. That is what I teach people, to define their own beauty and not only follow the beauty standard that was set to them centuries ago, which is based on whiteness. That cannot continue.
We got the sister there.
Yeah, rise up to that queen, bro.
Yeah, man.
So let's see more. Excellent. But yeah, this is awareness.
Sniff at.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're joined by Darth Raven. Are you there, brother? I don't know if he. Well, if he might be working or something, but he did join at some point. So you're always welcome to have your opinion if you have one at any point before we end the show. But definitely a very important topic we've covered here. We start with the murder of black women, what to do with black men who murder black women. We unfortunately covered the murder of one of the sisters in the carnival. There was also a brother who murdered, but we'll focus more on men who kill women, especially, women with children, and just very random how, these things even happen.
What was the concern of the brothers to that question? What to do with black men who murder black women?
Well, it's for me, I think you're entering that kind of you've entered that zone of you are no longer within the protection of the black community. So whatever happens to you, really. It's I think for you to tell me many years ago that there is a man or a boy or a black person who is actively stabbing a woman, it's unheard of. It's like where like outside of a context of, there has to be a context of something of why that there is no, you can't have an argument or a disagreement, especially a stranger. Like, you understand that sometimes passion and love and so-called love, and people know each other 20 years and they think you're cheating and they might do some crazy stunt in the heat of some silly moment, and they have to be punished for it. But you can understand, oh, I see why. But this, you go to a carnival and you stab someone. Once again, I don't know the full story, so I will have to try to research.
The story that had been came out is that she was with her, I think, 4-year-old child in carnival. The man pushed the child over. Had spoken to him about it. He didn't like that, and then he stabbed her in front of the child.
So yeah, I think what I would like to see or know more information on this person, because this is almost the act of an enemy of goodness, really. It's almost like if you were to write down a piece of paper, you're writing down the actions of almost like
an alien,
wicked, like someone alien to any kind of normality when it comes to like it's almost like I'm expecting to see a person who's like rolling on the floor barking like a dog for that to make sense, where you barge it, if that's true, you barge a child, and then regardless of what the mother says to you after seeing this, your response is, I have to stab her. Now there must have been witnesses there, and I have to get their testimony to paint a better picture, but there can be no reason why a sister, in general, either way, but it definitely in front of her children, is being attacked by a male with a weapon.
Exactly.
Unless she had an automatic machine gun and her child transformed to a dragon, there should be no. I can't see why a male. And this is what I'm saying about cowardice, wimpishness,
exactly,
and lack of masculinity, and all this kind of stuff. Where I saw there's a video. I don't know if I even played it on here. I might have played it on here a few weeks back, but maybe I was on another show. I can't remember. But it was there was this. I don't know the country they're in. Maybe they're another country. There was this brother, and he was walking up to a woman and a couple, and I think he was like threatening them, saying he wants to be with the European or the Asian woman, but she was with a older Asian man. But then he started threatening, and then he pulls out a gun. This on his own live stream for some reason, and then I think as he falls it out on some other people, whatever it is, and then the police come, and then the guy starts crying. He starts crying around the floor, begging for forgiveness and stuff.
It's America.
No, he might be from either America or Canada, but I don't know his lineage, whatever, but he was based. I don't know what country it happened in. I had the video at some point, but it's that dynamic where you're starting problems. You're doing something silly on a live stream anyway, which is a weird way you do that. And then you're quick to point out a gun and threaten people. And when the police come, you're actually crying and crying and sobbing. Yeah, it's like something with coward culture and masculinity and lack of accountability, and not even understanding that you are a full-blown wimp. And I mean that in the correct sense, that you have no strength. Like
coward.
Yeah. It's coward. They call it coward culture. That's what they call it. But I suspect this might be a part of that, where a man or a boy, I don't know the age group, it feels it's necessary to use a knife on the mother in a public place of a celebration event.
Unbelievable.
It's actually unbelievable. And we also covered the story of the unfortunate. Go ahead, Tim.
More, like you said, more things to come out, because like you said, there must be witnesses there, and if it is the case that happened in that way, then I just hope that we hear more brothers speak in the tone and the way that you're speaking, because it needs to be absolute, because this is ridiculous now.
They can't be
held. Like this is like there's a serious problem in regards to having to take, yeah, like you said, ownership, accountability, and just being able to regulate your own feelings. Like
yeah.
it needs to be like if it is that, then this needs to be the changing of. There needs to be like workshops and things like that for a certain age group of Black men in regard to relearning how to liaise and how to have self-control, measurement, stoicism, like these fundamentals that we almost took for granted that Black men had. Do you understand? And I just think out of the last couple of years, it's just been pushed for them to just cast all of that away and absolutely act like a fool and a coward. It's so unlike them. I say it all the time, been saying it for time, but I hoped it was a trend and they just get over it, because it's just in everything down. Like, they say if you bring the woman down, you bring the culture down. But if you bring down the man as well, it's holistic. Do you understand? So it just damages everything. Like, who wants this? Who wants these kind of dynamics and relationships? Because she's a big woman. She's like, I don't know how old.
31, 32.
Sorry?
Yeah. 31, 32.
Exactly.
That's a big woman. That's old.
Yeah. What women are supposed to what now? Because this is not a teen youth violence, gun violence thing. If you're stabbing a 30-odd-year-old woman with her child at carnival.
Yeah, it's
like this is now coming. This is now, we need to take ownership of this and just have some hard. This is what I've been saying. Men have these hard, honest conversations with brothers now, because it's getting out of control. And that tone in which you say it, and you can hear the disgust in your voice and the absolute in your voice. I hope that it's just a continuous tone. And I agree, bro. Like if I and this is only Kushti, this is not any of the brothers or this stream. But if I find out tomorrow that a group of brothers dealt with the brother who did with that, I'd be very satisfied. Like,
yeah, I was just about to say, like, the family need to do.
Yeah, it would actually undo. Even though this is not politically correct, I think it would actually be one of the first steps of earning back respect, earning back feeling protected that way. Because if you're going to do something that violent, sometimes you need something that violent back to you to understand it's not going to be tolerated.
And the family need to pay the family need to pay like the blood money, and if that doesn't, if anything, for example, nothing happens to the young man or whatever, then his whole family is supposed to be shunned by the community. You know what I mean? That needs to be enforced.
It's just a joke thing. And they'll probably just, I don't want to hear mental health unless it's absolute, like you said, because there is a space for that, like you said, like him barking as a dog.
Yeah.
But if he's not at that extreme, then I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And this boils down to a culture. Unless he's that mad, then there's no in between.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Madness is one thing, but they're mad. They're not mad enough to they can take knives, hide it, and run and all this kind of stuff. The only kind of madness I want to hear is you're rolling on the floor barking like a dog all day, every day, and that would be enough warning to not be next to you. As a matter of fact, in the area I live, I see people barking like a dog every day.
Literally, we see madness.
Every day. So you have to be at that level for me to say, okay, I can't understand why you don't know what you're doing or whatever. It's unfortunate. To be a young, I think the kids would have been young. How old did you say the child was?
4.
So yeah, this is something that's gonna be with the child forever. They have to be now the people. The thoughts have to be with them, and some kind of community aid reach out to look out for them. And obviously, this case has to be pushed forward as one of the many reasons why to have men protect women. Like it has to be a thing, like Black men protecting Black women. It has to be a thing. Just like I go on and on about Black men becoming constructive and loving Black women, this is part of that same process. I don't talk about it too much, but when I was Speaker's Corner, one of the campaigns I was trying to do, because out of respect, I didn't air a lot of things out. But I was very shocked by many conversations I had with black men there, completely. And I remember I used to ask the questions about if you saw a black woman, be attacked and stuff like, what would you do? And there was a few who said like, oh well, I would never do anything because you know, they'll have the stories like I would help them, and the next week they'll be back with the person, or I might be attacked or stabbed by someone. And then I'll ask them, well, if you saw a woman, an Asian woman in a hijab being attacked, how would you feel? And they go, oh, we'll protect her because she's a sister or whatever like this. So black people always gave me a reason of why not to be a protector. Obviously not all, but it was just, this is the sickness. So we've just seen a video about a woman talking about bleaching, and then we saw what the other video was about, kicking out a black woman from a pageant, and obviously now the murder of sisters. So there's a lot of the self-hatred.
Yes, right.
Is very, very strong. Now I don't know. I'm assuming that the individual who stabbed his sister was a black person, because I know, because no one's actually used those terms, right? But I assume that's what it was, who it was.
The person they
The
found.
person. Oh, they found him. I haven't seen the picture. That's why, so I don't know what he looks like.
Oh, okay. Because I don't. Oh, so they did find him, did they?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The things I find it hard to believe that you'll do that in public and then you don't have any kind of. I'll have to research that. But the reason I say is because that case study has to be done is, are you more likely to stab a black woman with a child than a non-black woman with a child? Like, because the self-hatred, the self-hatred is so extreme.
Yeah.
There might be certain things where you might just flex it off, and also the repercussions might be so much more severe. Had that have been a person of another community, a woman, can you imagine an Asian woman if a child and this will happen? So
Would you heard? I don't know if this is true. I'm going to look into it, but I heard that in Hackney, where there was the gunshot in the Turkish community, and I think a Turkish child died.
Right.
It was quite recent. Did you hear about that?
I haven't heard about that.
It was like it came up, but it went. It was like a flash in a pan kind of thing.
Right.
But I heard that like within the community, he got dealt with.
Well, yeah, well, I can imagine so.
In London soil here, like they dealt with him. Like I'm just checking if that's true, because a lot of people are saying that. But this is what I'm saying, bro. Like it goes to what you're saying. Like meanwhile, like the things that you listed, we've got so much issues within things like that where you'd, like you said, you'd still excuse a reason why to not get involved when other communities that a line has been crossed. Do you understand? That's all that needs to be.
And this is why I have to jump in. This is why it's very important, because this is the trick. The trick is you're still talking about a black man protecting a black woman. Now, in where you want to be in society, that should trigger everything. But because there is an inadequacy in the community, how you have to erase it is by comparing the black man or the black community or the male black community to other community males. You see. So when you're talking and they say, "Oh, I might be, I'm too dangerous, whatever," you go, "Well, would the other communities feel that way? Because have they been raised to be more masculine and protect whatever?" And you're always I know there's a history of you shouldn't do that. But I'm saying, from a male standpoint, you get the best results from men is when you compare them to other men. Yeah, right. And you go, because when you put men and women, then they try to have an easy victory kind of stuff, right? That's what they're trying to do. It becomes a sex thing or whatever, back and forth. But actually, you want to go, how comes the other communities? It's a staple in their code that if a woman is harmed, this is the outcome. So is that not like the stand that should be in our community as well? I'm not going to be wrong. Of course, there are many brothers who are that diehard kind of brothers, whatever. But we want to make sure that they are the principal people you think of when these things happen, and not the cowards.
Yeah, but big up to the ones that are out there, and you know what I mean, that are standing for us. Like, it's even when you hear things like this, it's so much more necessary for them and for their input. So that's a definite.
Yes.
especially speaking as, you know, I mean, it's carnival, and I've said this so many times, like that could be anyone's scenario. If I'm out with my child and then somebody blindly bumps them and knocks them down, as a mother, I don't have a choice. Do you understand? Like, that's in my DNA. I'm a protector. Of course, I'm going to have a word. Do you understand? So, or mention it, or oi, or something. I'm not going to just let that go by. Do you understand? Because you're not even, you're oblivious of the child. So for that to warrant for her to no longer to be here and crossed over, it's what I'm saying. It's not even, I don't think I've really taken this story on, you know?
No, I definitely haven't, because if I really did, just like the last one, the Turkish woman who died in Turkey for the operation and stuff, if I really took it on, I would probably say something that is verging on, you know, too much. So I have to, because the worst exercise you could do is you start putting yourself and your family in that same scenario and thinking what would happen and how would that outcome happen, and it will just enrage you to know that there's a sister out there and she did the right thing in the sense of stick up for her child, and an outlier, you know, a rogue member of the community, and that's why I want to get the testimony to see the reaction.
Zombie knife, you know, bro.
It was a zombie
knife.
So it's obviously this person came down there with these kind of and not that I want to bring up this other topic. I was going to cover this other topic, and it's not to cause any kind of offense, but there was a video circulating of a young man in a taxi cab a few months back, weeks back, and I think he was being attacked by multiple individuals, and he was begging the taxi man to drive, but the taxi man was too shocked by the damage of his car that he ignored all the cries. I think when a person says get the taxi man, he drove off.
Thank you, bro, because no one ever mentions that point.
No one mentions this yet.
No, thank you, bro.
A lot what's happened, but and to be honest, it's a good case study because it shows many things going on. But the case I want to bring from it was the individual who, you know, unfortunately was attacked many times. He immediately rang the police. He was, and I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm saying, you know, but I understand when I looked at his page, the lifestyle he was portraying and the rule set that they were talking about in some of the songs and the quotes and the stuff. This was not a behavior that he was fighting against individuals who they knew, and there was a rivalry. So for him to even ring the police, what I'm saying is, you have a person who's trying to portray one thing and engage in one thing, but straight away cannot maintain it when there's real pressure on himself. And the reason I'm saying is because these are the people with knives.
Exactly.
These are the people with knives making decisions, you know, in a split second, and they don't have that control of character to think I'm going too far or this isn't for me. There is no part two. They're 1000% in that moment. Like what I found interesting about that video as well was how respectful the youth was.
Even though he was stabbed.
Yeah, even though he was being stabbed to death, but he was very respectful to the driver, going, "Please, boss man,
please, boss man, I've got money.
I've got money." And it's only when the driver saw the money where, you know, all was forgotten, and yes, to the station we go. So, and there was even an Asian cab firm that used it as an advert. Did you hear that? Yes, I think they call it Boss Man Drive Cabs or something like this. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but,
you know, Ackies.
Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to say. Like, people are laughing, but there's a thing. Would that have been used in another context?
Of course not.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, and this is important. The double dilemma is being shown here in the sense of Black people are disorganized and despised, isn't it? So, and how we can expand that is we hate each other the most and we're hated by others the most. So this is a terrible dilemma to be in, you see? And that's why you have to have a fixated concept of preaching Black love. And sometimes that means, I don't use the term culling, but separating from the most dangerous unsynchronized, the error prone who are causing damage and death, and making examples.
They should be treated just like the outsiders that they want to be. Like I've already said a long time now that, you know, if they don't adhere to the code and I don't abide by the code and it comes to them, because this is exactly the reason why.
Yeah.
A zombie knife.
Yeah.
No good in you. You don't deserve any kind of that. No way. Like the brother Cal says shun, but it's like what you said before, is when you say that word, it's in the most literal way. That's the nice way of saying it. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff that we shouldn't even be able to, we can't say online kind of thing. This is just, there needs to be an understanding now, because
I think there was a term where they said that a person becomes worthy of death when they do certain things, and it is the last line of the shunness where
bro, muffled a bit.
Say again, brother.
Sister, you
No.
muffled.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I actually thought that was it muffled back. That's why I thought it was. But yeah, I was going to say yourself and brother Cal. Sometimes it fades in and out, but I don't know if it was your mic or the stream, and maybe it's happened to me as well. But now there's only two of us so it's just you and me. So I shouldn't hear anyone else. But it sounded. I thought it was like a male tone, but it wasn't. I shoot. But anyway, like I was saying, yes, some people, their actions make them worthy of death, and we want to make sure people don't do actions that make them worthy of death.
Good saying.
You know, but sister, it's always been important and a privilege and a pleasure.
Oh,
So
I can. Oh, it's
big up
cutting
yourself.
me as well. So you'll talk and then it dips a bit back.
Yeah. I think it's the stream because it happens to yourself and brother Cal. So let's end the stream there. Hopefully, it hasn't affected people's viewing pleasure too much. But we'll try to expand this on next week. But any last words, sister?
Just as usual, you know, thank you for providing the space and being consistent. A good show, important topics, and yeah, especially as a Black brother, just, you know, keep doing the good work. Although we've said all of those stuff, and you know, like I asked you as brothers what you think about and things like that, I do want to also say that the tide is turning with certain things as well. Like where it was a couple of years where being an absolutely self-hating individual was like almost like glorified and cheered on. I am finally seeing, it's like, I'm not saying we're there yet, but I'm starting to see a wave where they're realizing how stupid this is looking, and it's looking like it's finally looking like what it has been to the rest of us and the whole world, as foolish as it is. So I'm thankful for that, and it's got a shout out to the brothers who stayed true throughout all of that, because a lot of people showed their true colors in that opportunity. So it is important that you just, you know, keep on doing the good work and just keep doing the show. So yeah, and best up to everyone who jumped on the panel and all the family that's in the chat. Black Betterment.
Big up Black Betterment and Black Betterment to all Black Betterment. Check you guys next week for more Black Betterment.